Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Lack of accountability, passing the blame, projection, etc. is not, what's the word? It is not restricted to only the pompous, arrogant, narcissistic twats in the AAA mainstream industry. It's also, it seems to be pervasive throughout entertainment. And what on earth am I talking about? Well, a couple of months ago, month and a half ago, this caught my eye. I thought I did a video on it. Apparently I didn't. But the bosses over at MindEye just can't seem, well, they want to blame everyone else. And this article from Eurogamer from, what is this, May 28th, talking about boss claims game's negative reaction ahead of release has been paid for in a concerted effort. The lovely little quote, this little tweet, do you think that all the people who reacted negatively were financed by someone? Comes out and says 100%. Really? Couldn't possibly be because your game was a buggy mess with, numerous problems. What is this? Broken mess filled with bugs. Watched a few people who are no chance in hell they were bought and paid for by anybody. Feeling the same? No? Well, feeling the same. What else would he say? Not wild when it's true. I just said there's a concerted effort by some people that don't want to see Leslie and build a Rocket Boy to be successful. Well, you released the game. You put the game out there as a so-called finished state, and people reviewed it. People showed the game. They showed the game. And yet, here we are, July 3rd article from Video Game Chronicles, discussion of wanting to relaunch the game, but again, the boss, yet another claim. Internal and external saboteurs are to blame for the studio's woes. Couldn't possibly be the writers, the developers, the people coding the game, putting it together. Could not possibly be any of that. It's everybody else. Former Rockstar bosses addressed staff had built a Rocket Boy for the first time. Too busy screeching online and pointing the finger at everyone else. MindEye boss Leslie Benzies has allegedly claimed that the troubles facing Build a Rocket Boy are the result of internal and external saboteurs. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Everybody repeats themselves from the title of the article to the byline to the very first sentence. Forgot about that. Been a while. Usually talk about stuff I see on Twitter. Anyway, thank you for hanging out. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe. Please do it. Do it. I'm begging you. No, I'm not. Benzies, do it if you so choose to. Thank you. I digress. Benzies, who is best known for his Leslie's okay. Leslie Nielsen, whatever. Leslie Benzies, who's best known for his time as president of Rockstar North, has reportedly broken his silence to staff after the difficult launch, the abysmal, atrocious dumpster fire of a launch of MindEye. Quite similar to some other games I could mention. Cyberpunk. Anyway, the debut game from his studio, Build a Rocket Boy. According to the report from IGN, Benzies addressed staff this week where it's claimed the studio boss blamed everyone else for the problems, except for his own studio. Internal and external saboteurs. Really? Did some internal saboteurs break the code? Did they show you a game that was finished and released some other build? Is that what happened? Because that's the only possible way that could have happened, Leslie. You would think with a relatively small studio, 300 staff, that you would have the ability, and especially since this is your first game, your very first attempt to break away, to break out into this industry away from Rockstar, right? You would have a more hands-on approach with the other studio employees, with the game itself, that you would have put your stamp of approval on the finished project, right? Am I crazy for thinking so? But no, heaven forbid. It has to be internal and external saboteurs, those filthy, disgusting YouTube video game reviewers who spent their hard-earned money on the game, didn't get free copies, spent their money on the game, put their money where their mouth is, played the game, streamed the game for their audience, because that's what they do. Showed the bugs, showed the crashes, showed the problems. Right there for everyone to see. Those are the filthy, disgusting external saboteurs that just wanted your game to fail. Really? Let's keep going. External saboteurs on the issues facing both MindEye and Build a Rocket Boy. The game was a buggy mess, unfinished mess that you sent out to the general public and demanded and wanted money for. It was reported last month that the studio is facing mass layoffs. Shocker when you put out a piece of shit. Layoffs in the wake of MindEye's disastrous launch. Benzie's comments came as around 300 staff are reported to have received emails informing them that they are at risk of losing their job. That is the unfortunate state of affairs when you put out a product that fails. I do not wish ill on anyone. I do not wish that anyone loses their job unless you put out a product that is a complete and total disaster and then blame everyone else for that disaster. Then I have no pity for you. Regardless of whether it is the CEO saying at the staff. Unfortunately, we live in an atmosphere, we live in an era where any sort of criticism towards your game, well, that's your fault as the critic. It's your fault. How dare you have an opinion? It is the wrong opinion. You must eat all of this slop. You must accept it. You must open your wallets and wait for the next piece of slop to be handed to you. Well, that's not the case anymore, especially not with, prices, studios wanting to increase prices to $80 despite having zero justification because your game is a piece of garbage. Work more on the game. Make it a complete game before you put it out, and maybe people will be more inclined to spend $80. I doubt it. You're fighting an uphill battle, but we'll see. Put out a finished game, then we can talk. Since the release of MindEye on June 8th, social media has been flooded with videos of games' technical issues and bugs. But it's everyone else's fault that the game was a failure. Situation has deteriorated to the extent that PlayStation is issuing refunds. My goodness, PlayStation doesn't do that. Rare occasion that previously took place during the troubled launch of Cyberpunk 2077. I'm surprised because with Cyberpunk 2077, they pulled it from their store. You could not even buy Cyberpunk 2077 as a digital product on PlayStation Store. Will they? It says right there, pulled it from sale entirely. Are they going to do it again? Are they going to do that with MindEye? You're issuing refunds. You're selling a broken product. Studio said it was heartbroken during an apology that means absolutely nothing because you released a broken mess of a game. Released last Well, hold on. The studio said it was heartbroken. Look, my brain glitches when I read stuff like this and I have to back up because something looks wrong to me. So bear with me. Thank you for going on this journey with me. Studio said it was heartbroken during an apology released earlier this month. Yep, I thought so. Editors, look, I'm talking on the fly here, so I'm going to stumble and fumble over my words. You have the opportunity to run this through an editor and fix this. Don't do this to me. My brain is already full of tism. It is fragile enough. How dare you? Anyway, saying it was, quote, fully committed to ensure... You got the quotes. Space over. Now I'm going to start noticing errors over and over again. Let's reset my brain. I'm not going to bang it on the table. Fully committed to ensuring all our players have a great experience. Believe that when I see it. The game's Metacritic score is currently at a 38 for PC and just 28 for PS5 version, marking it the lowest rated on Killer. Is this all just information isn't faring well on Steam? Mostly negative. Interview with VGC. Before the game's release, MindEye assistant game director Adam Whitting told us that while Build a Rocket Boy was working on both Everywhere and MindEye, what is Everywhere? I don't think I want to know. Most of the staff were focused on the latter. Whilst we have got a big development team, a part of the team was focused on Everywhere for a while. Probably a larger part was focused on MindEye. A game of this kind of quality and scale needs a lot of artists. None of that means anything when a lot of coders, well, apparently they didn't have enough because MindEye was a dumpster fire when it was released. So who are you going to blame? Instead of pointing the finger at reviewers online, at critics online, we get enough blowback when we don't like this show or that show, get called racist, sexist, misogynist for moronic reasons, even though in our reviews, mine in particular, I can't speak on behalf of everyone out there, but mine reviews of this, that, and the other, I don't even talk about superficial nonsense like that. I'm going to talk about the story. I'm going to talk about the gameplay. I'm going to talk about the plot of a TV show, of a movie, what they took in, what they left out, right? Yeah. So constantly being called names, constantly being blamed when all I did was talk about it and show it off, because that's what all these channels did. That's what all these people did. They showed the game for everyone else to see. No one to blame but the studio. No one to blame but Build a Rocket Boy for putting out a broken mess. And yet here we are, much like the mainstream video, movie, TV show industry. You're pointing the finger at your potential customers, at your critics, instead of, I don't know, going and looking in the mirror and figuring out what went wrong internally. Do that. Maybe you'll find the problem. Or you can continue to blame everyone else for your problems and suffer the result of broken, buggy mess of a product. See where that goes, see how it works out for you. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things that you do. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.